Welcome to LifeTec's Great Gadgets series. My name is Dennis, and I'm a speech pathologist here. Today we are going to have a look into some of the communication devices as well as communication systems that people can use if they experience communication difficulties. So for people with communication difficulties, a lot of times they may experience difficulty using their speech to get their message across to others. And some of the more basic options that can help people who may experience those difficulties are things like communication boards, where you may have words or printed images to represent the message that you want to communicate across to others. And by pointing to the messages, you can then communicate that message to your communication partner. For someone who have a large amount of vocabulary, a communication board is not going to be enough. So there are also communication booklets where you can have different messages and different vocabulary grouped in different categories as well. Say, for example, if I want to talk about feelings, all I need to do is to point to feelings, and it says go to page 5. If I have difficulty flipping the pages, my communication partner will know that this is the page that I want to go to. And obviously, that will enable me to select different messages from this particular category. So for those who may want to have something that can provide them with voice outputs, there are also different types of options available. For example, for someone who may require speech outputs from their devices, there are also different options as well, like this static display device here. What it does is it uses a printed piece of paper to represent what is being recorded on the device. So, for example, if I want to tell you,
I agree,
I can just press the button there, and it will play back the message that is recorded and associated to that particular icon. They come in all shapes and forms, so this is just one of them, and there are a whole range of other options. And for those who may require maybe a bit less options, there are also simpler devices like this as well. You can have multiple sets of recordings recorded on these devices. For example, on this device, you can have up to 5 levels of messages, which means that you can have 5 pages of different messages stored in this device. For those who may have difficulty using those devices, there are also some other options as well. For example, the communication board that we used just now can be used with a barcode reader so that the device can say out the message that is associated with the communication board.
here, look,
So for those who have been using picture symbols or picture cards to communicate with others, there are also devices that will allow them to have voice outputs as well. For example, something like this. All the person needs to do is to tear down the picture card and then place that on the device itself. The device will then be able to recognize what is being placed on the device and obviously play back the message accordingly. So for example,
I don't like banana. I like ice cream.
and for those who may require the access to a large amount of vocabulary, they can also look into using a dynamic display device, basically a computer-based device similar to these devices here. So the person can then select directly from the screen itself the words that they want to speak, and the device will say it for them. For example,
I want to sleep.
so there are also smaller devices depending on the person's needs as well. For example, you can get something as small as a mobile phone while still have similar functionality and features as what you have seen just now. Of course, there are also different software or applications that you can get for different computer or tablets as well. For example, there are different types of communication software that you can purchase on the Apple App Store or as software packages that you can purchase from retailer as well for different types of tablet computers. And for those who prefer to use a more traditional typewriter-like keyboard device, there are also text-to-speech devices that is available as well. The idea behind them is that you can type out your own message and then the device will be able to speak for you. And for those who may have difficulty physically interacting with these devices, there are also a lot of different alternative access options. For example, this eye gaze camera, which allows communication devices to track someone's eyes, and that enables them to be able to select what is on the screen without even touching the device. All they need to do is just look at them. And we'll have a chat about it a little bit more when we talk about computer access a little bit later on.